a little bit about yourself, Kak.
Okay, hi Irene. Thank you so much. And good morning, everyone here from Bukit Vista and also property owner as well. Very happy to be here. I think I can say that, yeah, this is so far my experience. I've been doing a lot of like HR and also projects. I've been in hospitality industry as well. I think like the first time I worked in hospitality at Zen, before I moved to Philippines for 1 year for another company, and then as a boomerang employee, I came back to Zen because yeah, I think I still have like unfinished love business with Zen. So I was there for almost like 3 years. And now I'm actually like doing my own project in Axel, basically helping small, medium enterprises and also foreign company to establish their HR. So basically helping in recruitment, consultancy on HR legal, things like that. So yeah, I've been enjoying so far working for myself.
That's awesome. From your experience here, there's something that we would like to know. Like, we're wondering, you've been so passionate in this field of work. So, what is the motivation and the goal of focusing in people development? And how do you engage the employee of the company's vision and mission?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a job interview right now. It's like you're interviewing me for the HR head position. But yeah, thank you so much for the question. So I can say that this is my key realization as an HR. So previously, when I did HR, I was like the staff level, right? So I didn't really understand how usually the leaders think and all until I actually moved to TCS, which I engage in a lot of I can say like a lot of projects and programs for the employees, not only in Philippines but the whole Asia Pacific. So I think that's like the very first exposure for me to actually listen and try to understand what are the people motivation to actually stay at the company. And yeah, also in Zen as well, I also focus on this, like how we can like develop people not only from the hard skill but also soft skill and also mindset. And I also got challenged when it comes to how we can actually embed the company values to day-to-day operations, which at the time I was like, oh, it was very blurred. Like, I don't know, should we give basically, how to say, like basically training for them on how on each value? But it sounds so cliche. Sorry, my cat is here. Sorry, so she likes to be around when the camera is on. Anyway, just to continue. So at first it was like very blur, I can say, because when it comes to like making people understand the value, we usually only do training. Like we tell someone to come and do trainings, or we do our own trainings and tell people what does it mean to be having entrepreneurial spirit, like how to do this and that. But that's very, I can say like that's very theoretical. So I can say that what we can do regarding this and how we actually engage people to understand the company vision and mission is first when it all started when you do employer branding about your company. Okay, so first, when people hear about your company, or when people hear about, for example, for your company or like for your project, how do they perceive that? At first, it's not gonna be like a one night solutions. It has to be built like starting from how the founders or like how the owners actually present themselves in public, how they actually inspire people. It doesn't have to be like a fake inspirations. It's basically just be yourself and show your value in day to day and how you actually inspire your employees as well.
So, okay.
And for your information, basically I used Bukit Vista twice, back then in 2018 and 2019. And I have like a few friends before I also hired someone from Bukit Vista. And when I did interview with them, they basically say that Bukit Vista is like one of that company that they are aspire to be in again, because like the culture and everything. So, and also like I engage with you guys twice, so I know like how the vibe and how you try to brand yourself. So that's the first thing. The second one is when you do recruitment, the recruiter has to be very smart on how to deliver. This is the expectation of the company. This is what we do. So recruiting is not only like talking about asking about the employee, the candidates, right? You also need to promote your company. So you source the best people as well. And basically on the onboarding, you have to do this kind of like training about like what we're doing, the culture, expectation, and everything. But what's more important is how to engage them in day-to-day operations. For sure, I can say I agree that it's very important for the leaders and also the coworkers to show how they work, the attitude, the mindset, and all. Because I've been in a team as well that people are just ranting about their work, and somehow it really puts like negative emotions on the day-to-day operation. But let's say if you can empower each other each day through the vision and mission of the company, I believe that it's a how to say it, it can be done. So very important to actually listen to your employees and ask what do they need, how can we support. So yeah, I think that
Uh,
when it comes to people development, it's not only about the hard skill, but also the soft skill, the growth mindset, the entrepreneurial spirit. Because if you want your business to grow, then that's like the fundamental things to do. So yeah,
Also, you mentioned about planting core values
yeah,
in your employees,
yes.
and from a lot of experience that you have from different companies,
Mm.
do you think is one core value that can bring to any companies? Like,
Oh,
what is the core value for the end for employee
okay.
that can be held in
Mm.
any kind of companies? Is
I
there
think,
anything?
yeah, I think there is one that I really like because so I study communication, right? And it's not only about being an announcer or anything. It's basically to understand how people communicate, how people from different culture communicate, how people perceive messages and send messages. So that's very nice. I can say that graduate study that I did. So there is one value in one company that I work for, and it's about the open door communication. So they say our value is open door communications, and what it means is imagine if you are working from office and you're walking to everyone's office who has like a room, and the room is always open, meaning that if you have any issue or if you have anything that you want to say, you can come to the office. So even like our CEO office, so in TCS they have that that value when it comes to like open communication. And TCS, okay, so if you are Indonesian, if you know like Lipo Group, so they are like that. They've been like 50 years, and this is like one of the company that they have, and the CEO door is actually like open like every time, whether shift is there or not. Okay, and my take here is not only about glorifying the value, like oh yeah, in TCS there is an open communication, open door policy, things like that, but even the leader is demonstrating that. So when someone is coming or when someone say hi to him, he's also like eating in the canteen with all of us. So kind of
Nice.
like a
Yeah.
humbleness that they have. I
So we are
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to always be there for anyone who
yeah,
needs us.
exactly, exactly.
Okay,
So
that
that's
is
something.
really inspiring. Communication is
Yeah,
key of the growth of
yeah, yes,
the company itself.
yeah.
And then, as you said, you mentioned about having an experience in Asia Pacific,
Mm,
and we know that you have like a lot of experience in diversity as well.
mm,
So I wonder, how do you bring diversity in the multicultural workplace, and what's the biggest challenge that you have overcome embedding diversity in the working culture? Because as we see, like not every company is
yeah.
always open with the diversity and all. And this is like new for us
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, yeah, I feel like in job interview right now, but it's okay. I will try to, explain it in a very simple way. Because if I talk too much with HR terms, I'm not sure if all of you are going to catch up on this. But I can say diversity is not the goal. Diversity is the tools for you to grow your business. So some of the business owner usually think that if we have diverse team, we will succeed. But diversity is basically a tool for you. Okay, so what do you mean by tool? When it comes to diversity, when you have a lot of people with different needs, with different motivations of working, with different kind of background as well, you need to know that it has to be aligned as well with the inclusivity. how you ensure that the company also provide that. So diversity and inclusion is one thing that has to be there together, because you can have a lot of people from diverse culture. Like you are doing the recruitment, for example, like, oh, we only hire certain gender, for example, because we already have a lot of, for example, male. So let's hire more female, for example, female employees. But you forgot that if you only work on diversity and not the inclusion, the business is not going to grow. Like for example, you are used to have male employees, okay, and
Oh,
then you forgot that sometimes female employees, we got like, for example, this is like the health issue, like for example, menstruation every month,
yes.
and then you don't have the policy for the sick leave for that. Okay, even the government is already doing that, like giving that kind of thing, but you are not open or you don't know about it. So that's
I,
why before you jump into having like a diverse, team, you have to ensure that when I think I'm ready to have diversity, then I have to walk the uncomfortable way to also work on the inclusion, for example.
okay.
So yeah, more
Uh,
into that. So I think that how we can bring this is, I think more into like you can showcase like how diverse your team is and let people actually like come there and see. For example, for Bukit Vista, I think you are a hot shot, right? Like for people who want to do internship and experience multicultural working environment. Because I think that that's the employer branding that I can see. Even like I only see for like 5 minutes about your website, I can see that you provide those kind of things. So I think like starting from giving the message, but also you can ask your employees to actually promote your company to how diverse it is, how inclusive it is, and how happy you are, like working in this environment. So yeah,
okay, that's cool. So the diversity itself is the tool and
yeah,
not the goal. So
yes,
it has to make our work easier than usual, not to be a barrier
yes,
to
so true.
that we have to overcome. That is really awesome. Maybe from our guest here or my friends who wants to ask Kak Dio for your questions, like feel free to ask her since we still have some time here. And as we see, we have like a really interesting speaker right now who's been working in people with people like for over years. And yes, Mr. Jing, and would you like to ask?
Sure, I'll give anybody an opportunity to ask first, but I'll have a question for Miss Dio actually.
Sure, sure, sure.
Anyone else, maybe before Mr. Jing asks his question? No. Okay, Mr. Jing,
Sure.
yours.
I took a look and I saw that just such a wealth of experience in the years that you've been working with people and understanding HR and developing these soft skills. Um, I'm curious about this. I'm curious about what do you think is the most misunderstood area of HR that younger
Hmm.
people find, and that it takes, let's say, a person with your experience to eventually discover something different.
Okay, so I think this is very interesting questions. Like, I can say that there are a lot of like myths and also misunderstanding that probably HR people got from the people, like from the employees. I think that I will just tell one more thing. It's about how you perceive our role in the company. So people
Mm,
actually, if you are not some of the people who probably not in management or like people who are not in HR itself, they will think that HR are the friends of the employee. So
right.
that, oh, you are the HR, you're the one who managing us, so you're supposed to be on our side. But then the role of an HR is basically the watchdog. Okay, so we
Yes.
watch everything. Okay, so like we watch how management do. We also watch how the employees do as well, and the way we try to engage you or when we are being friendly to you is not a fake thing. It's our job to actually do that because we want to understand how you actually work. Okay, and what are the motivations that you need. And sometimes it's also like part of our KPI to understand, to make you stay. So we want to ensure that your needs are accommodated. Okay, so not to be fulfilled, but to be accommodated because it's two different things. Fulfill is like when I do exactly what you do, but accommodating is like I'm trying to have a win-win solution. And also there are
Excellent.
like, yeah, there are also like a few people who thinks that HR is siding with the management, but then they don't understand that if we don't take care of the business of the cost itself, then we cannot have the job for you because we don't have the, like the money to actually pay you, things like that. So I think that I hope that all of you here, whether you are HR or not, you have to understand that your role is to be the watchdog in the middle. That's the ideal role, to be honest. But then you can actually in one time siding with the employee and in one time you can side with the management. And if you are a management right now, you also need to hear your HR, okay? Because sometimes these people are actually the walls that hearing everything. And if they give like any concern regarding people, meaning that if it's already been like it's not about us ranting about the job, but more into like people have been talking about it and it gives the concern and you need to know as well. So yeah,
Excellent.
I think that more into that for the answer.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Ms. Dio, for the very thorough answer. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kak Dio, for the answer. Is there any other question from my fellows here? Maybe everything good?
Anyone?
Anyone? Okay, I will. Mr. Chris? Yeah. Oh, Kak Mayana.
Okay, I think wait.
Yeah.
I think my question will be like, how challenge that like for us here, like to maintain people and people in and out anytime. So because like especially us, like we hire very young people, like a lot of them like young, first experience, and of course like sometimes they want to try out or like so how you maintain and basically give what you do if like people like, oh, I want to try out something else, and or like is it better here or there, like how
Yeah.
you basically outcome that if that kind of question
Yeah.
come.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about loyalty. More into the young people. So when I say young people here, let's say it's a Gen Z. Okay. Like that sometimes I think now Gen Z is already like coming to the workforce, whether as an intern or like entry level positions. So when it comes to loyalty, I think like in my advice, we basically need to know that there are things we can control and there are things we cannot control. The things that we can control is first how we actually judge people when we do recruitment, because I believe people wants job, people wants probably like money to actually like pay their bills, so they were just gonna say like all the good things, right? And sometimes the judgment cannot come only from one, two, or three interviews, but you really have to observe this person as well. So things you can control is your own judgment. The second one is how you actually deliver the training to this person, because there are a lot of reasons like why people are leaving. And sometimes as a business owner or like as a team leader, we usually think that it's their fault. I used to be trained not like that. I was so kind to you, like this, like that. But you should understand that each generation has their own motivation, and it also has different, I can say like different like privilege. I mean, like we don't know what kind of privilege that they already earn, what we already earn. For example, I can say for millennials, we need purpose. Why we have to do this? Why is it like that? But Gen Z is more into like, I want things an easy way. When it's easy, I'll do my best. So if it's hard, let me think again. So there are like some studies saying that young people now wants an instant thing, but I understand that we cannot always provide those things, right? So that's why what I'm thinking is like I understand that sometimes we want to have younger people to ensure that probably cost restriction, like we want to have like a probably like a lower pay for our employees, especially in a training side, or let's say we want to ensure that we can actually grow this person to actually stay with us for a long time and they can be a key person. But then if you are failing to actually managing like younger people, I can say like you don't have to blame yourself, but more into like try to seek other options. For example, when you hire people, I understand that you have the ideal candidates, that this person has to do this, have this and that, but then let's say when we find this person, it's a high maintenance, okay, in terms of we have to like take care of this person a lot so this person doesn't go, things like that. But then probably you need to have some option. For example, should I hire someone probably like older, but then the budget is still the same. Okay, when we talk about distance. The second one is, or we have to hire someone exactly the same age, but the requirements that I have, or like the ideal candidates in my head, I will lowering it a bit and see in 1 3 months if this person stay or not. If stay, then I give recognition. Whether you give a new positions or you add like more pay to this person, so it will pull the motivation. Because as an HR, I have my ideal candidates, but somehow the ideal candidates in my company is not that good. They're not staying even like 6 months because they were just gonna go here and there. And I understand that probably if you see my career, that I also like go here and there. Literally basically because of that. My employers basically do not satisfy me, and I get a better thing. But when I stay in a company who really knows me, um, and able to fulfill that, I stay for like 2 3 years. So yeah, I think we can. I can say that we cannot always blame ourselves on this, or we cannot always blame them as well. So
Okay.
just focus on the things you can control, and the things you cannot control, then just let it be. So yeah.
Yeah, it is true. Young people always ask about why. And and yes, and they might always have expectations of their own, and it's not our fault if our goals is not matching to
Yeah.
theirs. And people will come and go is something to be grateful in our lives, I guess. Okay, then I will have to close this session. Thank you so much, Kak Diana Mia, for coming today, and we will continue with some company cultures here. We have our vision and mission. Our vision is to inspire delight everywhere, everyone, and every time. And mission, Bukit Vista mission is to inspire delight through hospitality innovations that positively transform our guests, employees, and partners. And I will offer this to Kak. I'm sorry. I will offer this to Kak Torik and Kak Dio. If you would like to stay, you can stay, and if you would like to leave, and you're also welcome to leave. And
Okay.
there's
Good luck, everyone. Bye bye. I'm going to work now.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mr.
Kak
Gil.
Dio.
Bye bye.
Okay, I think for the faster coordination, we can have Mr. Jing. To speak on behalf of the team for delivering the vision and mission. This is probably to our partners as well. If you are wondering, what is our performance last week? So yeah, Mr. Jing, please, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much to the PR team, for Khan, Irene, for organizing this morning's delightful, inspirational speaker. I really appreciate when we get very competent people to talk about things that are generally a little bit more hazy. Ms. Dio was talking about this idea of diversity, and I'd like to just expand on this idea of diversity for a bit. What she said, I think, is very, very insightful. Diversity is the tool, is not the end goal. You hear about diversity mentioned a lot in company promotional literature for their employment programs. But I think this is what we're doing right here, right now, is a form of diversity. By bringing our partners to our meetings, by bringing external experts to our meetings, it's a form of diversity by sharing culture, by allowing new opinions, by allowing feedback to happen in a way that wouldn't otherwise happen. And for Mr. Hastianto and Mr. Chris, we're going to share with you essentially the transparent truth about Bukit Vista, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, so that, anyways, you see essentially what we see, and that we have this transparency. We're very open to also hear your feedback about things that we're doing or ways that we can improve, and understand where, once again, how to pursue the mission of inspiring delight. Okay, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and begin. I created this image on Mid-Journey, by the way, which was pretty cool, beginning to use a little bit AI generated art. I couldn't get the logo to fit perfectly, but hopefully I'll get that done by the next turnaround. All right, number one, OSI. OSI is becoming a central part of how we use knowledge management throughout the company. I do see the usership of OSI increase, and this is going to be one of our primary tools for obtaining fresh, up-to-date knowledge across the entire company. Please, we want to actually prime OSI with more questions now. We're introducing management level questions. We're introducing content type questions, process type questions. OSI learns if we ask it more questions, and then it also inspires the creators of this particular tool to find where the knowledge might be. So the progress on OSI has been great, and as a hypervisor for the past 2 days of last week, and having not had much experience hypervising for a while, I found it to be a very, very comfortable tool. And the results do show actually in some of the good news that I will be announcing shortly. But let's talk about this particular. This has been the third week we've been talking about this priority opportunity, and it's understanding yourselves. Back to what Ms. Dia was talking about. What is your leadership goal? What is your talent? And for a very long time, we have been stuck thinking that people are a particular skill. We think of a person as, let's say, a back-end developer, as a data scientist, as a marketing specialist. But for an organization like Bukit Vista, it's not just about the skill, but what is exactly your leadership function? Do you have a leadership function? Do you want leadership function? So part of this requires a little bit of self-examination and understanding, but collectively, I want to just set essentially what I think the boundaries are for each particular leadership role. Once again, the entire meaning and purpose behind what we do here, purpose being the word that Dio used, is to inspire delight. We inspire delight by innovating in hospitality, and that innovation, if successful, results in positive transformation in our guests, in our partners, and our employees. And what I'm about to say is essentially this innovation that we discovered through countless amounts of losses and very, very hard stories that hopefully will give everyone here a pathway to positive transformation in their own careers at Bukit Vista. So it all comes back to this particular leadership planning table. We've gone over a few of the sections in the previous weeks for sub-management, strategy, and operations. Today, I'd like to bring everyone through and talk about this particular idea. What if you can see things that have not been done yet, but you can see it very clearly how it should be? You've done the research, and it's a brilliant new idea, and you just can't rest until you want to put that particular idea into practice. What type of leadership do we call that? Well, that, if you do feel that, it's visionary. So if you're a visionary, you are deciding where we as a group, we as a team, we as people that you lead should go in the future. You know why we're not there already. You see all the problems that we're currently facing. And once the solutions are beginning to be built, you inspect and you monitor what the ideal picture looks like. You have this craving to have your vision actually be actuated. The expectations for anybody working in a visionary role are, of course, the quality of the opportunity. Are you seeing the clearest opportunity that's available to us? And how do we actually evaluate the quality of an opportunity? Well, is it going to have impact, and is it feasible? So if you find yourself asking these questions about yourself, then you probably have visionary talent. Okay, next, let's go into the next particular cycle. Let's say you think of things this way. You understand people. You understand how each Vistan and Vistan has strengths and weaknesses, and you can create and identify roles where each person can thrive, where each person can do their best work, and you can motivate both individuals and large teams to move through the direction where we need to move through systematic rewards, but also discipline as well. We call this upper management leadership. So within the realm of upper management leadership, the expectations are, well, you're in charge of pretty much the overall input and the overall output. That could be budget, headcount, all the things that go into a company to actually organize it. And the overall output are number of checked out guests, the overall revenue, the growth of the company. These are all the major factors that go in. But how do we actually become upper managers? How do we actually crave and understand this? Well, it's really understanding how to manage company behavior. How do you manage a large group of people's behavior? How do you actually identify, using Dio's words just earlier, that idea of, she used the word judge, I like to use the word select, right? How do you select talent correctly at the very beginning, such that you pick the right people who are committed to your mission, who want to be with you on the long haul? And how do you identify talent at all levels, at strategic level, at operational level, people who can sub-manage, people who have vision? This is upper management work. And an upper manager places, delegates, and motivates talent correctly. Okay, so we explored essentially all the different levels of leadership, and hopefully at this point, everybody now is clear. We're on one single frame of what essentially the leadership journey at Bukit Vista looks like. I'm sure it's different in different organizations, but just for our company, this is kind of like what it looks like, all right? Priority issue number 2, once again, read the partner contract. Many conflicts that we have with partners comes from a bad understanding on our side of what's on the contract, and perhaps also, and I'll say this with 2 partners in the room, also a misunderstanding on the partner side for what's actually been promised. I've seen that multiple times we can fix a lot of problems really easily if both parties actually understand what was initially committed to on a particular contract. All right, so we're making the process a little bit easier by also introducing the partner contracts into OSI. So in the future, if anybody has a particular question, they can just simply ask the artificial intelligence and it will give you a summary of what has been discussed, which I think is actually pretty powerful too as well. Okay, next, once again, yeah, if we don't read partner contracts, then the contracts are effectively useless. It's like basically saying we don't care what's on the contract. All right, once again, some success stories of where conflicts have been resolved by just committing to a contract, and I think that has been a good thing we can stick to this upcoming week. All right, I'm about to share the Airbnb Insight dashboards, and there's some very, very good news. Last week, there was a really critical shortage of headcount in our operations group. I happened to hypervise twice. There was a few supervisors that were sick. There were some people traveling. So I got to experience this firsthand, what it was like to hypervise. I will say this, which I find to be very, very surprising. With basically the minimal number of people, with the minimal number of experience, we were able to get the highest hospitality scores ever. Some of the highest hospitality scores ever. So let me repeat that. Minimal number of headcount, minimal number of experience, and yet we're able to get the highest hospitality scores. I reflect on why is that happening? How could that even be possible? And I'm thinking perhaps more of the work is being done strategically. More of the tools are able to help anybody with very little experience understand things with somebody with years of experience. More of the structure is actually being built here to allow to empower each person here through hospitality innovations to do their best work. So it's a very, very good sign, and I take that as a reward for all the work that the entire company has put in. It goes back to the very beginning. Have the guests been properly given the expectations by the people working in content? Have the property been properly prepared by our property managers, inspectors, guest experience supervisors? Have the tool teams actually created tools that are functional and useful for not just our own internal teams, but also for partners and for on-site staff that are working in each particular property? When the answers to all these questions are yes, then of course, our hospitality metrics should rise because everything's working according to plan. So anyhow, let me bring you through all the metrics and show you some of the delightful numbers I think that are pretty actually good. So last week, communication, we were at 78.9. This week, communication was at 79.6, so up. Last week, the check-in was at 81%. This week, check-ins were at 81.3%. Last week, the accuracy at 74.6%. This week, the accuracy is at 76.5%. Last week, the location was at 73.1%. This week, the location scores are 73.5%. Last week, the value is at 69.1%. below SLA, and I'm happy to say that now the value is above the SLA at 71.3%. So we've actually moved from the red back into the green again. Congratulations, everybody who's been working on delivering more value. Last week, cleanliness was at 66.9%. This week, cleanliness is now at 68.9%. Okay, still below the SLA, but definitely we're making progress towards higher achievements. And I'm happy. I got lucky today that the partners happened to come here on a day when we actually had uptrends. For Chris and Mr. Astianto, it's not always every day we see uptrends across the entire community. Okay, let's talk about what this means. So last week, overall score, 71.5% on the 5-star reviews, 4.58 on overall rating. This week, we have happily 72.1% and 4.6, which is some of the highest numbers we've seen in the hospitality count so far. So if you feel happy about it, show some delight, show some inspiration, and maybe touch that little emoji-con on the bottom to express satisfaction for how we're getting things together. Now, what does it mean for everybody in a personal way? So it comes back to our semester goal number 3. The revenue goal is $2.4 million. The overall rating is 4.5, and the 5-star review is 70%. So this is the promise. So semester goal number 3, 3x individual bonuses if the company achieves the 2.4 million sales target from April 5th to September 30th. It will be measured on October 5th. Qualified interns will receive a 3 million appreciation bonus. And if we reach all 3 goals, we will pay 4x the individual bonus on October. If we reach 2 goals, we'll pay the 3x individual bonus in October. If we reach 1 goal, we'll pay 2x individual bonuses in October. All right. Interns are 3, 2, and 1 according to the number of goals that we reach, and 3 million, 2 million, 1 million for those particular marks. How are we doing? Well, we're good. We're at 72.1% and 4.6, so that's 2 goals. And the revenue is already past $1 million. So we're already over $1 million on the first milestone. There's 1.3 million left with almost 3 more months. Wait, how many months? Actually, quite a lot, yeah? From May till September, got 4 more months to go. All right, so that is the update, everybody, on the vision and mission for Bukit Vista. Let me hand it back to, is it Torek or
The
Furkan?
moderator is Torik, so you can hand it over to Torik.
All right, Torek, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jing, for your thorough explanation on vision and mission statement. Since the time is quite short, I'd like to move on to the next session. Perhaps, Irene, could you share your screen? All right. Thank you. Moving on to the weekly mission inspiration from the, I believe we have from guest side first, yeah, from Sarah. Let's scroll up. Yeah, over to you, Sarah.
Okay, so from the guest side, we had a story. This is actually only yesterday. So the thing is that we transformed a guest who failed to who had some difficulties during check-in. So one of the guests in Kencana Homestay, his name is Steven. He had difficulty checking in, and then our ops team, Kak Marcel, along with Mas Gani, approached the guest directly to Kencana and positively transformed the guest to be a happier guest by giving them complimentary. So yeah, I was about to attach the image. Okay, yeah, there's the image. Okay, there it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the nice story, Sarah. Moving on to the partner side, to Katendi. Over to you, Katendi.
Thank you. So yeah, last week there is an accident from the guest that fall down because the stairs in the pool is slippery because it's from the wood. And then I went there for checking and bring the solution to partner. In the beginning, the partners doesn't seem cooperative, and I explained more why and how to fix the problem. Then partner agree for the solution and improve it. On Villa Kyle, thank you.
Also, the next one.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the second one. Last week, I went to Nusa Lembongan, actually the new area, and then inspected the new property. And then yeah, there is a potential property called Bong Hostel. This property has 3 types of room: bunk bed, a box room, and private room. They have a total 46 beds in with the ocean view. And then surprisingly, one of the property owner is the famous drummer from Bali. His name is Jering from Superman is Dead. And the property has a big garden yard for some activities like yoga, barbecue party, and live music and edge. And also the parking roof is using solar panel for supply the electricity of the property, since Nusa Lembongan has a lot of sun. So this is a good idea for the what's called minimize the operational. Thank you. Maybe yeah, can open the photo yeah for the
Wow, this is really good news, yeah, Katendi. New potential property. We're moving on to the technological innovations. I believe it was Kofidi. Over to you, Kofidi.
Yeah, so there are some small feature improvement, such as to complement the notification of booking that is still registered when you want to disable the unit. We will now see whether unit that is trying to be deallocated still have a dependencies on bigger. And booking calendar feature does not auto reload anymore if there are no changes after closing the dialog box. This improves the speed and usability. There's also a bug fixing contract related app for and then there's also an improvement in a new feature for contract ending reminder in Bukit Vista. End of contract is auto extended, but there is a policy that offboarding should be done 60 days prior to the actual offboarding. This creates friction with partners sometimes. So we created a reminder in Slack to allow PM to get in contact with partner. And actually the email system and templates already prepared, but it's not activated yet after discussing with Kyla to consider for partner sentiment that is still out table. So we just need to activate when it is ready. There's also an update for Bifigo 2.1.7, which includes the feature for limitation for maintenance block in response to calendar cannibalization, which is currently set at 5 blocks per month per unit. However, based on the partner feedback yesterday, I believe this policy might need to be revised and then the part to be reiterated. We implemented an in-app pop-up as well that is able to show different content. Right now, it is used to deliver updates on apps and also prompt the app review. This is in the first picture, yes. So this can prompt reviews for the app itself and also showing the update. And the third feature is we also create different templates, which is randomized to have a different wording and copywriting for different stages of the booking, so which is the booking created, modified, and also canceled. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Rafi. Moving on to Robin, I believe. Over to you, Robin.
We're sending automatic notification to remind our partner to update the guest unit in Bifigo. So there are three types of notification. Guest check-in reminder. It will be sent one day before guest check-in every 7 p.m. and check room readiness 2 hours before guest check-in every 2 p.m. and 20 minutes before guest check-in in 1:40 p.m. And last, guest checkout reminder every 1 p.m. and 5 p.m.
All right, thank you, Kopidi and Robin, yeah, and the team for keeping us updated with the technological updates of Bukit Vista. Moving on, we are entering the company theme, target and achievement session, and I'd like to highlight this part, especially towards Mr. Chris and Payanto. This is the session where we catch up to each other's and kind of follow up what's our priority, what's our threats, what's our future opportunities, and so on. So I would like to directly call out Kyla for presenting. To Kyla, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our property partners, Pakis and Payanto, as well as the teams that come today. First of all, let's go with the weekly inspection based on our monthly theme, which is the anticipatory agility. We have two insights, both are threats with details here. So the first one, the recent partnership issues are oriented upon the things that we haven't been able to anticipate, and they're piling up on a day-to-day basis. So small things that getting bigger by the time goes on. The actionable for this, since we have several sources for that, for messaging concerning the old Scott to reactivate the SPI, which is the strategic point of improvement section, to address issues company-wide and hypervise the completion of each issues that has been brought up. The second one, for Irene to monitor and inspect the ongoing communication in BV Inspector and AS3 WhatsApp and report them to SPI for context and URC for engagements. So for any issues, any sentiments from the partners, it has to be reported so we can actually see and detect whether there's something that needs to be addressed on the upcoming months or upcoming days. And the third one, for me to supervise the report and integrate the escalation for strategic improvements. This is related to all squad. The second threat is for the Bifigo calendar blocking and review compliance channel that hasn't been well maintained. This channel should detect the real daily issues based on the actions taken directly by our partners or on-site staff. For this one, specifically for Irene and Johannes, please monitor the Bifigo calendar blocking and verify the authenticity of the blocking effective by today. I need to see all of them has been checked and reacted. Whether it's valid blocking for maintenance, personal usage, or another case possible, because usually the issue coming from those actions that has been taken and then suddenly it becomes something much more than that. The second one, this is to forecon for the guest squad and partnership transformation to integrate the negative review replies, and then with the SPI team to address and anticipate the upcoming issues based on the previous guest feedback. Hopefully, this will help for more alignment and getting more context for each property that we are discussing. This way, we will be able to inspire delight for partners, guests, and employee in a more systematic and agile way. So once again, anticipatory agility. All right, that's it for the weekly inspection. For those who have been mentioned, kindly give a thumbs up for agreeing or write down your comments if there's anything else you'd like to add. Second, moving on to the targets and goals that we have so far. As a reminder, our main target can see below, which is the 380,000 US dollar for our key target, 420,000 US dollar for the awesome target, 70% 5-star rating, and 4.5 overall rating. This week, I'd like to congratulate all teams involved, especially those in operations and revenue management, because we have successfully exceeded our weekly target, which is 7,154 US dollars out of the 6,600 US dollars. So congratulations for the teams. Kindly give a reaction or something for operations and revenue management and all things involved. Congratulations for that. Let's keep up with the momentum. All right. What is our threat? So we have two in this one. The first one is maintenance block. This is also related to the weekly inspection that studies before. So some of the property using the maintenance block to get walk-in bookings without fee. To prevent this, we stricken the policy to only having 5 days block for maintenance. We also have new policy for this. This has been brought up by Mas Bayu previously. So what if owner asks us to block the calendar because they ran out of their quota? How to handle it? This is for everyone in the company. Please pay attention to this one. First thing, you need to contact your highest Wismo as the community manager. This is important. Inform the partner that you are forwarding the message to community manager and waiting for confirmation. If the community manager decides to allow partner to block, ask him to add the quota via bigger. See the attachment there. Later on, this is also announced on the Slack channel. And then inform the partner that they have been granted extra quota by community manager and now they can block via BVGO. If community manager decline the request, they will contact the owner directly and communicate. So it's basically inform and report. So inform the partner, then community manager will contact them, mention the name and time. What you not need to do is do not ask anyone from BV to block the calendar because this is complicated and develop a culture to our partners. Second one is the partnership issue. We still need to work on detecting issues and negative sentiments way earlier before they start to become something significant. Okay, all right, moving on to the achievement. So far, we have achieved 335,624 US dollars accumulated revenue on May, which is 88.32% from the OK target. So upcoming, we still have 44,375 US dollars to achieve the revenue target. If we want to achieve it, we need to collect average of 5,547 US dollars per day. So let's go, everyone. In general, once again, we have an increase in both 5-star rating as well and as the overall rating. So 73.8% for the 5-star rating and 4.65 for the overall rating. Congratulations team, all green this week, yeah. So let's keep up with the momentum. Yeah, I think that's all for me. The rest have been announced previously by Mr. Jing regarding our semester goals. Thank you, Cinta and Kalilis, for helping me conduct the report, and have a great week ahead, everyone. Thank you. Back to you, Tori.
Thank you, Kakaila, for your thorough explanation on the company theme, target, and achievement. Yeah, let's hope we can keep the momentum of our week. Let's say we can. Let's hope that we can keep our momentum on the fourth week, just like we do in the third week. That's what I meant. So, since we do have our partners actually right now, Payanto and Mr. Chris, I would like to perhaps let from our partners, Payanto or Mr. Chris, do you have perhaps any question regarding our company theme, target, achievement, or anything that we presented so far?
No, everything's been going quite well. We had some IT issues a few weeks ago, but I think most of those have been resolved now. On the mobile app, which is what I use, is functioning as it should, as I see it. Yeah. We did kind of mentioned about outside bookings, which you are aware that we do, and we did have problems with quotas, with quotas that we use, but that's also been fixed in the last few days as well. So so we're all clear. We've had quite a raft of bookings over the last. June was a good month. May was a good month for us. June is a little bit quieter. We've got some forward bookings. The pattern this year seems to be quite different to last year, and I guess it's COVID, maybe COVID related. I don't know. 98% of our business is domestic. We don't get that much overseas business here, although we do have. We've seen an increase in guests from Malaysia and Hong Kong, Singapore in recent times. So that's a bonus for us because we weren't getting those before. So no, overall, I'm sort of quite pleased with how it's all going, but we can always do better. You know, and listening to all the comments this morning, it's really not rocket science. I've been in public service all of my life, and all you need to do is use the word empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the guest. What do they want to make an experience or a delight, as you put it? It's not hard to work that out. Give the customers what they want. We never say no. We always find a solution. You know, so that you know that we can give the guests the experience that they're looking for. The worst thing that can ever happen is to spoil someone's holiday. You know, and you don't want that to happen. So I make it a point every single booking that we get at this villa, I am here to welcome the guest. And I show them around, I show them everything, I show them and I introduce our staff, and I make sure before I leave here that they are comfortable. That's it. It's not difficult. You know, and we can always learn, we can always improve.
Excellent.
And we're always looking at ways of doing that. So anyway, from my part of the world, it's we're all happy and moving along. So there we are.
Fantastic. And thank you very much, Mr. Chris, for attending today. And you've heard it from the partners themselves today.
Yes.
On
Look,
this.
I'm very grateful to be included in such a meeting. It's really good. A lot of the names are familiar to me. I haven't seen the faces, now I'm seeing them.
Well, that's part of the point too, as well. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. Look, you know, the other point worth mentioning is communication. Communication is so important. And I really do get good backup from the staff and in the various departments. So no, it's all good.
Okay, thank you. Torek, let's have.
Okay. Yeah, for your constructive feedbacks, we will really take note for this. And I would like to call also Payanto. Perhaps you would like something to add?
Okay, thank you. Good morning. And first of all, I think thank you, and yeah, I'm very honored to being invited and to be here. Yeah, to see all the team from the Bukit Vista. Same with Chris mentioned. I just view your face for a couple of you, but I think this is the team. I feel the spirit, the young people. I think you want to. This is, I think, the culture, yeah, for the Bukit Vista. You want to bring the transparency, you bring the innovation, and so on. I'm following the session from this morning. But what I feel, yeah, as a partner, I think you did some improvement, not some. I think improvement, many improvement. About the important things about the communication. The communication can be a direct verbal or from the WhatsApp group, and also the application is what improvement also. I think what the partner needs, yeah, time by time you can improve, yeah, from the simple things. I think I'm so happy, yeah, can be partner with Bukit Vista, and find another another improvement in the future. I think so far, hopefully, yeah, we can grow together. I think I will support and pleased to know and working with Bukit Vista and all your team. Thank you.
Hey, Payanto.
Yeah.
And thank you. I just want to say two things to our guest partners here today. We appreciate this commitment that you've made with our company, and we're grown-ups here, and we love hearing transparent feedback. So at the moment that you're discontent, please just express it. We're in the hospitality trade, as Chris mentioned, and listening to people complain is part of our business, actually. So we're open to whatever feedback that you mentioned, and I'm really honored to have you guys share this. And for everybody here, I'm also really happy that we could actually bring everyone together so that you could hear from the partners themselves. Oftentimes when a company grows, there's many layers, and it might be difficult for people who are, let's say, working on particular projects to actually hear direct spoken words from one of our esteemed users. So, okay, there it is. Improvements in communication and thinking about hospitality with empathy. All right, back over to Tori.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jing. And yeah, and we also always be happy to be your partner. Yeah. First thing, I would like to apologize to the whole room since we are, since I know it's not really inspiring the light, but we also have one more session that's really need to be called out, actually, the core value recognition. So I would like to call out Mas Gani. Over to you, Mas Gani.
Okay, thank you, Tariq, and good morning, everyone. So I'd like to nominate Marcel for being inspired like every day. I saw how he was in operational is very bold. He made guests who to make sure they have excellent experience day at Kansana Homestay. He made owner to make sure they use tools correctly, and he made on-site staff as well to strengthen the relationship with between us and the on-site team. So I'd like this very strong and bold, Marcel, and hajar terus lah pokoknya. Mantap.
Woohoo, mantap.
Yay! Turn on the camera, Marcel. Okay, next one.
Yeah, next one. Moving on to Furkan. Over to you, Furkan.
Okay, thank you very much, Tariq, for the floor. So I would like to recognize Kak Nadia, but basically this behavior has been done like weeks ago, but I forgot to put it on the core value recognition, so I just put it right now. So basically, Nadia forgot to do the thumbs up of her shift, and especially if someone forgot to tell us the shift, they need to do squats. But because it is done asynchronously, Kanadia performs a very smart way to show her integrity by recording her squat and sending it to the group Slack. So we all know that Kanadia do the punishment and the consequences that of didn't put the thumbs up on her shift. So thank you so much, Kanadia, for inspiring us. So I would like to ask all of us to also keep our integrity everywhere that we are. So yeah, thank you very much, Tariq. So I think that's it. Back to you.
Thank you, Furkan. Yeah, since it's the last part, I think it concludes all the all hands day. And since we are already over time, everyone, I'd like to skip the personal updates. And I believe there is no announcement for today's all hands. So I would like to conclude today's all hands and give it back to our host today, Irene. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Lorik, and thank you for everyone for joining with us today, especially our beloved partner, Pak Yanto and Mr.
Chris.
Mr. Chris, yeah, Mr. Chris. Like, thank you for attending our all hands today.
Can I just ask a question, Irene?
Yes, sure,
Yeah.
sir.
Is there any reason why we couldn't do this on a regular basis for hosts to have an input at these kind of meetings from time to time, perhaps?
I think Kak Furkan want to answer that question.
Yes,
Over to you,
yes.
Kak Furkan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. Actually, we done this on weekly basis, so we do this every Tuesday. If you would like to join us every Tuesday, we will be very welcome to have you here.
Probably on a weekly basis, it might be a bit of overkill for hosts because you've got your own things to talk about, I guess. But from time to time, when you think it's appropriate, just give us a shout and we'll just join in.
Oh wow! Okay, perfect. That'd be great. Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. If you feel that you want some perspective from hosts, then just shout out, and I'm sure Mr. Yanto would agree with me as well, because it's good to hear from all sides, from the coalface, as it were. So we're very happy to do that. As I say, just from time to time when you feel that the need is necessary.
Always necessary. Very good. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Mr. Chris. Okay. I think Kayla mentioning.
I forgot. I think Mr. Yanto also raised his hand there.
Oh, yeah.
Did Yanto have any final thoughts?
Yes, Mr. Yanto, would you like to say?
No.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Okay, that's great. Oh yeah, before closing, I guess Kayla has suggested one thing about having a documentation. So Irene, could you possible to take a screenshot of us, because we have two lovely partners here with us. So would that be possible, Irene?
Okay. Let's see. Everyone has.
Adil Mahefsi, Ardana, let's camera on for our thing today. Yeah. Okay, Irene, go for it.
Okay. Everyone's ready. 1, 2, 3. All right. Can we take another one?
Sure. One more.
Everyone's ready. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. And I'll give back to Kak Furkan.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to this all
Thank
hands.
you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. Thank you so much, Pak Yanto, for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, our BV team. I hope you all have a great week ahead. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All the best, everybody. Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone. See ya. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.